£50, spend within your means. Because no use saying I'm going to buy the Under Armour or the knife, and it takes half of your money, and you've got nothing left.
Yeah.
Where you can get a T-shirt probably from Asda, Tesco, or whatever, from the basic. Thinking about how can I get this? Yeah? So you don't have to show everyone your T-shirt, you can keep your thing zipped up. But there is peer pressure. Is that what you're wearing today? That's what you're wearing? That's what I've got. And sometimes this is what I say, and you've been able to get something different, and you've got to look. Someone
goes as quick as it is, otherwise stable.
You don't value it. It's very easy.
Yeah.
If you know you've had to work hard for it, you're going to try and look after it and protect it.
Yeah.
Because you've worked for it.
Yeah.
The other thing is, what is work? Let's start with that. What is work? So, tell us what you do for a living. What makes your living?
Track engineer for London Underground.
Track engineer for London Underground. What depot? Okay. Track engineer. So one of the things as a track engineer, he's put in an effort. Do you do shifts?
Got permanent nights.
That's even worse. Permanent nights, but some people enjoy permanent nights because basically the shifts do mess up your metabolism. And permanent nights, although it's all nights, sometimes people say I can get more done on nights because when I finish, I know I finish and I can have a good rest. Tony, what about you? What were you doing previously?
I was a local government officer.
Working for local government. So you were working with pen and paper at the time?
Yep.
Okay, and then later on they transported to computers, and fairly soon they're trying to do more with AI. All I would say to young people is understand AI and know how you can use it, but make sure that if the computer goes down, you still know how to get out of trouble. The reason is, AI can do everything. It will tell you everything.
Yep.
And you can become so reliant on it that you won't go and do your research. You get so reliant on it, let me put it on Dr. Google. You've got the answer. In many cases, the answer's fine. However, it hasn't got all the answers because some of them are looking at different algorithms.
That's
Yes,
right.
right.
That's
Yeah?
right.
And then you've got the basic AI, and you've got the likes of Perplexity, which is the one which is a bit more detailed, and it's going deeper into what is there. So don't just rely on Google. There are other AIs which are free initially because you're not going to use it as much as a professional, but have a look, understand it, but make sure you can do it if the computer ever goes down. Because these days that's the sort of thing that could happen. So money does talk. So we're going to get back to the track engineer. So the track engineer, it's hard work, you've got to be there, you've got to do the job. And then at the end of the month, there's a payment. I don't need to know what you earn, but at the end of the month, most people get a salary, whether it's 12 payments or there's 13. There is a salary at the end of it. And you need to know what you're going to do with that salary. There's a saying, always save something for a rainy day.
Right.
Yeah? And what that means is you don't have to save all of it, but save something. Because it's also said that it's better to have because you put something aside than not have anything at all and have to be in want. Save something. Think about what you can put aside. Save something for that rainy day, and you don't know when that rainy day will come. Or something unexpected happens. And that's from the very youngest person to the eldest. Some of you here, and we're just switching to the elder one at the moment, will be on pension or near pension. A lot of people are interested in you. There's a lot of people interested because you've got money.
That's right. That's right.
Money, and they want some of it.
Yeah,
so
that's
there's
right.
lots of scams. Yes. Our parishioners here used to say to me, "We've got lots of people phoning me up, and all they want is to try and engage in conversation and try and see what money they've got." People are interested in pensioners. And the other reason, some pensioners are probably getting a little slow, they're not up with all the modern things, and people are trying to scam them. So we have to be very careful.
And the government.
We'll come to taxes later. But first of all, look after your money. If you're a pensioner, look after your money. Know where your money is.
Sure.
And don't get anyone ringing you and saying, "I'm from the bank and I would like you to move your money from here to there." You need to validate that.
Sure.
And what they normally say, if someone says something like that to you, tell them you ring them back. But don't ring them back on the same phone number. Find the actual bank's number.
Right.
Because if you ring them back, sometimes they're still connected to your line.
Correct.
So you need to be very careful. People are interested in pensioners. They won't get so much our track engineer because he's out or he's sleeping and he's not answering the phone. But sometimes people will still try. And then for young people, you have people who have phoned up to say, "I am such and such, I really like you, can you get me some money?" Be careful. And then I've had one recently from a lady on one of our prayer groups, and it came through and said, "Hello, I'm in trouble and I really need some money urgently." Needs money urgently, and then it says, "Just press return and I'll send you the text with what I need." No. So you need to be very careful. There's a lot happening that if you're not in that field, you won't be aware of. So be very careful. Going back to money. We haven't got to inheritance tax yet, but going back to money, the government does charge or put a fee to help with the administration. And it's no different to biblical times. Zacchaeus was a tax collector. And the whole idea, Zacchaeus was collecting taxes for the Romans. But as you know, it was one for the Romans and possibly one for him as well. So that's why people hated him. People dislike tax collectors or dislike paying tax because sometimes it's a heavy burden. You have to pay your taxes. So I'm not going to say find a way of not doing it. You have to pay your taxes. And then when we come to the likes of inheritance tax, where people are saying, how can I ensure that I leave my house, my possessions to those who I want? And that's where, if you want to deal with that, you have to get professional help. Either from someone you trust who works in the banking field, who will tell you all about it, or a solicitor. But be very careful, because everyone wants a slice of the cake. Inheritance tax is one of the big ones, because if you just have one child, and everything is going to the one child, and it's over that golden amount, then there's something to pay to the government. If you have 2 children or 3 children, it is split between them. Well, if you split it, because you may decide you don't want to, but if you split it, it's split between the children, and it brings down the amount that each person will have. Sadly, I had a friend who died in the early part of this year, and he used to work for the railway, and he was okay, He was single, but he had 2 children, but he also had 2 houses. Yeah? So the inheritance tax came and the children know. They worked, they had to work on it, they had to sell one, maintain the other. Because that's inheritance tax. Yeah? So we have to look at what we have and get the relevant advice. The other thing is with money, those, and you don't know when we're going to die, we leave it to the Lord. Things like wills should be up to date. And make sure that what you request is stated correctly. It's not because you're being morbid, it's because if something happens, your desire is very clear.
Sure.
And that is very, very important. No matter what age, because you can always update them, there's no problem with updating them, but you do need to make sure you have a will and you let your wishes be known.
Quick question. The inheritance tax, I think there is a way to make sure the government don't teeth on your money when you pass. You mentioned you could give it to a child, the government gets a portion, but isn't there a way around that? I think there is, I just can't remember what it is.
One is to put, if it's property, you put the property into a trust.
Yeah, that's it.
And it has to be in the trust for 7 years to make sure that it doesn't attract inheritance fees.
That's
But then the problem is, if you're a young man, 7 years pass, the property goes over to the person who is in trust. And some people say, because you'll speak about it in men's little group and chat, I'm not going to do that now because my son kicked me out. It's here. True. These are all risks, but it's only when men get together will they speak about those sort of things. But it is a risk.
right.
And that's why you just need to have the relevant advice. The will generally deal with most things, but if you've got things squirreled away here, there and everywhere, it's when the person dies that it starts to be gathered. Because the other thing is, these days, the government have got eyes on everything, because you've all been told to put all your money in the bank. Everything that's there is accessible. It's not hidden. When people used to keep it under the bed or in the suitcase, no one could see it. And I'm not telling you to do that. And the other thing is, the government recently have sort of encouraged that if anyone who's fairly up in age wishes to withdraw a lot of money,
Yeah, you have
you've got to stop it. The banks have to stop it.
Yeah.
They encourage you not to take it.
Yeah,
Right.
it's true.
Why?
Okay. Because their rule is because of scams. If you let people take a lot of money out, it could be a scam and they lose it. But the other thing is that you can see where it is. Because the idea is, how many of you don't pay with by tap and touch, tap and go? Is everyone using tap and go? How convenient, isn't it?
Yeah,
But it's visible.
it's visible. You can keep tabs.
Computer system, it's visible.
That's right.
Not that everyone can see it, but it is visible.
Yeah.
And the reason they don't like people paying cash, because what they say, you could be paying cash and they can't see where the money is going.
That's right.
It disappears.
Sure.
You've drawn out, say you've drawn out £200 a day, no one sees where your money goes. But every tap.
Sorry for cutting. And that your business will be what you do.
At the moment, we don't know what the long-term plan is.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're using cash. So younger people that are committing the crime. So don't get me wrong, I understand what you're saying, but the other people that are committing the crime are also using cash because there's no way to track them.
And then sort of when police are doing like their drug raids and so forth, they're looking for cash. They're looking for cash, and sometimes when people are taking suitcases out, they've got dogs that are smelling for cash to see if people are taking it. Yeah? Plus remember, all suitcases are actually scanned, not just the one that you go through the thing. The other one's going through the back into the hole is being scanned as well.
Yeah.
So when people think that no one sees me when I put all this money in and hide it away, someone's seen it, It's, the only thing is, it depends on A, the amount. If it's small, they're not going to worry. But if it's a large amount, someone will stop you when you get to the other end and ask you, what is all that money for?
Your own money.
Yeah, so I actually, my mum and I actually work in pension. So we'll see like a lot of people that get scammed, especially elderly people that they'll, so what a lot of companies will do, and they will ferry off with the same company, they'll get you to do a very long process where you have to go on the government's online financial advisor forms and get a reference number of years to each company to kind of get you go through a very complicated process. And also, so when you have a certain type of pension above 30,000, you're legally required to get financial advice, because otherwise you cannot move any of your money. And they'll get you to do various scam calls. I think in 2021 they introduced new legislation where they flag certain pension companies as red, amber, or green providers. So if it's green, it can go straight through. If it's amber, you need to go through that process with the company in order to green light the transfer. And if it's red, obviously they'll advise completely against it. So there are a lot of people that especially particularly when you have a certain amount of money. Yeah, most financial advisors are going to tell you not to move your money at all.
Okay. Any other questions, any other points? Because what we've done, we've gone from the dinner money savings that you get, which I'm really saying, save something, it doesn't matter. Save something. Set up a bank account. If you've got a bank account now, later on it's easier because you've already got an account and you can get a second account. Save something now. And the other thing is, if you can put it into a savings scheme where at least you're getting some interest. I know these days it's very small.
Right.
At least it does grow a bit, because if you say, what would I buy with £10 10 years ago, what I can buy with £10 today, it's actually less. So if you just leave it in a bank with no interest, it's just sitting in a current account, it's not growing.
Sure.
But if you know you can put some away and not need it for a while, put it where you can get some interest. Some people also prefer stocks and shares. Pension schemes, they like that. And one of the words they always say in those sort of schemes, it's the long term that pays. So some people like to say, this one is going up today, this one is down, I'll buy that at the right price, and then they keep shipping. What they say is, long term in the scheme is better than jumping around, because jumping around it's very risky, but there is more risk. And for people retiring, they normally say, by the time you get near to the age of your prospective retirement, the best thing is we'll put your money into a less risky pot so that you can guarantee roughly what you're getting at the end. You've got medium risk and then you've got high risk. Like when Trump first came in, everyone seemed to be happy, and the shares in America, the prices, wow, everyone's saying America was a good place. And then sanctions came in. America isn't so good after all, because the shares started to drop in price. And it's just the way things move. And it could be that, like the BBC, this thing that they're going to be sued by Trump, that will be teetering the stock market.
Sure.
But that's, money works. But if you've got money, look after it. Try and save something. And that's the only advice we give you. Try and save something. And those who have the pensions, remember, others are trying to get your money, and the government has got its eye on it as well. Because their bit, ideally, is when you put it all together, that's where the inheritance tax may also come into play. So all I was meant to do is just give you a warm-up on finance, because it's such a wide sphere. But the main thing is just to get you thinking, look after your money. Be aware of those sweet calls that you get that ask you to do this and that, and make sure you know what you're doing.
Very interesting.
Very useful.
Very
Just one quick one. What would you suggest as a good savings where we can get our money, where we can see the interests? Like an ISA or
Yeah,
something?
ISA.
Okay. ISAs are normally good for the likes of young people because the rates are better. For adults, I would say speak to your financial advisor. It depends on how much you've got and how much you're looking to invest.
Sure.
Because it's all about the amount. And then different banks do different schemes at different times. And they're in with that. So I would say speak to a financial advisor. Even one from the bank is good.
Yeah.
But speak to a financial advisor.
I was even just going to say something with regards to ISAs and savings accounts. Recently, the UK has been hit with a small change where it was 4% at one point, and then it dropped to 4.75, and then it dropped to 4. So again, it's the whole risk of inflation and everything else going on in the country as well. Sometimes it feels great at first, but then you might end up disappointed later on in the year. Something happens. It's all just economics. You've got to keep an eye on it.
And so the idea is, if it is an ISA, put it in. If it's generally doing okay, it will continue, give or take. There will be fluctuation, but it will smooth out generally. What would you like to say? Anything else on pension? Because you're looking at big sums, especially for a big company.
It depends. But one, diversify your assets. I mean, I've got like 3 savings accounts and as one stocks and shares ISA, which I add to every month. And I'm going to get another at some point as well. So I'd say keep, so diversify your assets because other companies have different interest rates as well. And you can get different kinds of funds with different companies as well. So I've got one in trading with 202. I also want to get one in Vanguard, which is a bit more, which takes a bit more time. But so yeah, basically spread your money out across the numerous bunch of funds. I contribute to my pension about £100 a month every year as well. Every month, sorry. So yeah, there's different kind of sources of.
I just want to hold on that point for a minute. For young people, and I was young once, when you hear that from a young age, I don't know how old you are, but that's 24. Normally when you're putting into a pension, you're saying, why am I putting it in? It's such a long way down the road. But it's worth doing.
So,
Whatever you put in, it's a long-term investment. Do the pension. Because when it does mature, you will be better for it. Some people say, I want to spend the money now. That's another way of putting a bit away bit by bit, because it's a long term. Because a government pension, you will also get government pension if you're in the scheme, if you're paying national insurance number, there will be a government pension, but at the moment they are complaining that people are living longer. Yeah? So the government, they're looking at ways how can they drop it down a bit.
Is that one of the reasons why they try and put up pension ages and things like that?
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Makes you work longer.
so we don't.
Just to add as well, when you get started a new job, they'll ask you if you want to opt into the pension scheme, and always opt in. And also, most of the time, remember that if you're there for under 2 years, you'll get a refund of your contribution, so you won't get a proper pension. And with certain jobs, you'll need to be there for longer than 2 years to get the actual long-term benefits for the pension scheme, because it means it's a lot harder. But it means it's a lot harder to move, but it would be better in the long run because you'll see more benefit for your investment.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I want to ask about investing in property, because I hear a lot of different kind of perspectives of it. Some people say investing in property is the best kind of investment. Some say that, well, it can be a burden if you invest in property, and depending on different things. In a brief break, I know it's a wide.
It's a large subject, but it's a large subject, but it's a large subject. But it's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, but it's a large subject. It's a large subject, if you look at the trend, property has always played out. Sometimes high, sometimes low. Property does always pay. And that's why people still say invest in property. Part of the reason is because everyone needs somewhere to live. That's the main thing. Everyone needs somewhere to live.
Yeah.
The other problem is, where are you going to invest?
That's right.
Because many people, like those who have grown up in and around Harlesden, will find that they won't be able to buy a property in Harlesden.
Yeah.
So what many people from Harlesden have done, from what I've noticed, they've moved from Harlesden to Luton. So they get a much better property than you're travelling in.
Yeah.
Or they move from Luton to Bedford. So people gradually migrate out.
That's right.
And that's where it then has its benefits. So a friend of mine, he said that his son is buying a property up north near Newcastle. He said, why Newcastle? It's cheaper and he can afford to buy it. Whereas if he's trying to buy something around here, so it's the long and the short answer is if you can, but you do need to have some collateral to buy. If you're going to invest in property, if you're going to buy something that's dilapidated, I don't know if any of you watch Homes Under the Hammer.
Yeah.
It's worth watching if you're thinking of, only from the perspective you see people's thought process. And the thought process is, I'm buying it near a university because then I'm going to rent it. Or I'm going to buy it because I want to live in it long term and this is the money I'm going to spend to do it up. Many of those people have builders and other tradesmen who they can call on. If you're doing it and you've got no one, there's a learning curve.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts. You can start with one and say, oh, that's gone well. But then when you're ready for two, remember you've got to get the money in from somewhere. If you already spent it all, where are you getting it from? So that's why people generally move in further out to get the property in like Manchester and places like that, although they live in this end, because they know they can then buy it and it's then available for them later on, if all goes well. Because it could go badly, you might end up getting a squatter in there, or those who are in there don't want to leave. The law is just changing, which is about, if you want to give someone notice, it's not just about giving 2 months notice.
Yeah.
You've got to make sure that you either need it for yourself, because it's your property you need for yourself, or it's church property and you need it because there's a minister going in. So you've got to be very clear, because the person can say, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
And it's a big, long wangle. So there's pros and cons. Everything is life is pros and cons. And it's what you do it and how you do it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
It may not give squatters more rights, I believe. So it's much more difficult to get a squatter right. Or not just a squatter, person who's living in their house and won't pay rent.
Yeah.
So they give them a lot more rights, so it's much more harder.
Well, it's harder, but if they're paying the rent, it's even harder.
Yeah.
If they're not paying, and you can prove they're not paying, then that's an easier thing. But remember, it's not just about telling them to get out, because they may say, I'm not going. And then you've got to take them to court.
Cool.
That cost as well.
That's it.
There's a cost. And it's not their cost, it's your cost, because you want the property back. Okay. But don't give up. If you know what you want to do, as we started off the day, make sure you know why you want to do it. Because if you know why, you're working in the right direction. You might want to get from here to the end of the door. And sometimes you've got to go this way, and then you've got to go that way, and then you're coming back. But you know where you're going. If you know where you're going, you will know where you're going. Right. Thank you. Thank you.
Oops.
Good catch. It's So it's great. Well, praise the Lord, everyone.
Amen.
We're almost there at the end. Amen. So, thank God. I just want to say thank God for all the facilitators who has gone past already. Bishop Kevin, you really captured me with the nutrition, because I'm always wondering about. I used to have a six-pack like you. Now I've got one big pack. That's it. I've got, six anymore. But it's very important, and I struggle because I have certain conditions, but I don't claim it. I try to work my diet, so I'm always interested to hear you talk. That mentor all stuff with men as well, very serious. I counted too many men who are contemplating suicide, and that's in the church. Yeah, when someone's in the church and they contemplate suicide, that's a serious deal.
Yeah.
So all of these discussions that we've had, they are on finance, deep, very deep. I never used to